Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited for today's episode because joining us is a very special guest today. First of all, I'm Kevin Dow, one of the hosts. This is David Turosa, the other host.
Thank you.
And joining us is a man who used to go to our high school.
Our first guest.
Joining us is a man who I remember one time jumping off the balcony of our A-block building, landing and walking away. Nothing happened at all.
Nothing happened to him.
Joining us is a man who would start cross country on the same line as us and 10 seconds later be 4 kilometers ahead of everyone else. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ben Graham.
Thanks for having me, boys. Long time fan and listener of this
Let's
podcast.
go.
Day one, been listening. Love this man.
4 episodes and he's
I've been DMing you boys ever since. I'm like, please, boys, I want to be involved in this whatever way I can. So I love this, man.
We
what
love
you guys
the
do is
support.
awesome.
See? I told you guys, if you guys want to come on, you honestly, we'd love you to have you on.
You just have to bring your own mic.
Yeah, I
And see-
didn't have one, so I had my gamer headset from like when I was like 18.
Oh, so Ben, how have you been, man?
Oh, good man, busy.
This is the first time I'm asking him that question. So.
Yeah, 100%.
No, so how's things been? How's life? What do you do?
Oh, it's crazy, bro. I don't even know how to begin with what I do. I mean, like, mostly what I was doing at school, just at a different, like, level.
Yeah.
But basically, like, from school, so, like, you guys talk about, like, outside uni, like, what it was like leaving school, going into uni. For me, like, I wanted to study film, and that's what I was doing in school. I wanted to do that in uni, so
Yeah.
I did that. But then you learn pretty quick at uni that like film is a large spectrum. You can do a whole bunch of different things. For me, I was like, I really like editing, but there wasn't a whole bunch of work in editing. So I was trying to figure out other stuff to do. I was working as well at the time doing like real estate videos, doing a job here and there, doing a lot of weddings, which like good for money, not long term. Don't do like weddings long term. It's it just numbs your brain a bit.
Yeah.
Then like reaching towards the end of uni, I'm like, hang on, I'm like, I stepped off the ship at school, and now I'm like, I've had to step off the ship at uni. What's up? What's in store for me on the other side? Like, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I was applying for everything, bro. I was still lifeguarding at the time. Like, I lifeguarded all the way up till 2018.
Oh, that's
That was my first job.
side hustle, man. That's
2013, man.
No, but I want to bring it back. Like, so just give the people a rundown of kind of like a small rundown of what you do right now. And we'll bring it back to the start.
From then, I just started applying for jobs on LinkedIn, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then I got a one-off gig doing race cars, and I was like, oh, sweet, race
From
cars.
LinkedIn?
Yeah, from
That's
LinkedIn.
amazing.
Some guy like DM'd me and was like, hey, I saw you're holding a Sony in your profile picture. Can you come shoot a Sony? I was like, yeah, sure.
Did you have that profile pic in the
Yeah, with the Sony camera, like obviously on my shoulder, not filming anything at all, just posing with it, 100%. And but that got me the gig, bro. And then I went to film a racetrack. They really liked what I was doing, and they're like, "Do you want to come work full time for us?" I was like, "Yes, that's awesome."
Oh man.
So suddenly I transitioned from uni doing like long form, working on projects for months at a time, to then doing race weekend content, which is basically like you're given a list of videos on a weekend, and it's your job to deliver that on the weekend. So I go to the racetrack, or I have a list of sponsors that I have to do videos for. So I might have like 5-6 deliverables on a race weekend. I've got to shoot and edit that all at the race weekend.
Oh,
So from the
finish
Friday
it all
to
off
Sunday.
and then hand it in on a Monday or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow. And wow, that's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, so basically just I don't want to dumb it down, but like you film like a lot of supercars, like
Yeah, so supercars, GTs, basically mostly motorsport content, and then we've stemmed into, me and my business partner, we've stemmed into MMA a bit as well, so doing some stuff with some of the UFC guys, doing some cool stuff there. And then most recently into the music industry, actually doing some music videos.
wow.
We're looking after one up-and-coming artist, his name's Zoo James. We're doing a lot of his stuff at the moment. He's doing really well.
But that's your side thing, isn't it? That's not with the company.
No, that's with the company.
Oh,
So like
wow.
all this stuff is through the company.
Like there's so many industries that you're like tapping into.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like it's just as soon as like people see you consistently make things at a certain level, like people are like, okay, cool. That's where they start to trust you. Yeah.
But to bring it back to the start now, like why did you get into film? How did you get into that?
Literally, it just came from what, like initially or like after uni?
No, initially, like through high school.
You used to make a lot of like videos for our Year 12 assembly. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Like surf camp videos.
I had all my cameras.
All that
First
stuff.
camera I got, one of the first ones I got was like a camcorder, and that didn't do.
Yeah.
So then I got GoPro, and that's where it really started to take off because it was like, I could put it underwater and stuff. So that's when like Swimming Carnival.
Bro.
Oh, it was all that stuff, man. It was like, honestly, like I liked making stuff. I liked animation. I originally started making animations in Microsoft PowerPoint. So I'd duplicate the slide and then move the character slightly and then duplicate it again. And then just tap spacebar really quick to make it move. Like that was where I started. I was like, I just love that stuff. And then I got a camera, had Windows Movie Maker, was just making stuff.
You got all this stuff in year 12 as well, didn't you? Like,
you were doing this like year 10.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah. Oh, that's far out. I probably started like with the camera kit that I had. Yeah, probably around year 9, year 10. That was where I really started to do stuff.
What's your favorite memory of Ben?
Dude, I can't believe this guy jumped off a 2-story building and then landed and just walked off.
Like in the parkour days.
Yeah, like it was nothing. But my first memory of you was in year 7. And I think we bonded because we both liked WWE back then.
Yeah.
And D-Generation X. Do you remember that? When we used to pose in the playground, just doing all the moves and stuff.
I still remember year 12 study camp. There's all the photos of me just RKOing out of nowhere. Like we were playing volleyball and we were on opposite sides of the net, and then there'd be a lull, like the ball would go off somewhere, and I'd just go under the net and just RKO
out of nowhere.
And he would full commit to it. Like he'd go down and everything.
Wait, so what year did you meet Ben?
I came year 7 and I was in Ben's homeroom. So we were in the same homeroom.
Bro, who we have?
Neathling.
Neathling.
Yeah.
This is Neathling, I remember.
I think I've known Ben for quite a while, because you were in prep.
Prep, man.
Yeah. So
When'd you come?
I came in year 3. Yeah.
I was gonna say year 5, but no.
No, I came in year 3, but I have to be honest. If the other guests that we bring on, I don't even remember how most of the people I meet. So, but my favorite memory of you. I think we might need to cut this.
No, we're not cutting anything out.
But basically, there was oh man, I just have to say it because it's our first time seeing him in like 8 years.
We haven't seen him since we graduated, by the way.
And I have to say this memory, but basically we would be in music, and you already know where this is going. And there's a student in music, and her name.
I didn't expect it to go here, bro.
You really knows. And me and Ben, I'm sorry, like whoever, if you're watching, but me and Ben, we would be screaming her name all of class, and yeah, man, she would not like. She didn't like it, but me and Ben would be cracking up. Like I can't take it because that's my favorite. There's other things that we were screaming. We're not gonna put it in the podcast.
Oh my god.
That's my favorite memory of Ben. And
it's just been making fun of other people. It's terrible.
My memory of you, man, is your energy. No matter what time of the day it was, no matter what day it was just so high.
Blessing and a curse, man.
Yeah,
honestly.
like, you would bring in all this energy, and obviously when we won it would be like, oh man, this guy's so funny, and then when we don't want to
just shut up,
chill
man.
out, bro.
But for me, I just did not know when to stop.
But it was good, and yeah, I've already told you this, but yeah, I'll never forget that moment when you were like, oh, come suss out like my business that I've registered under my name, and we were like in year 11, year 12, and I was like, yeah, this guy. He knows what he's doing, and it's so like I'm so glad to see where you're at now, because no matter what anyone said during that time, you were like working hard to what you want to do, and that's why I'm so curious. Like, how did you start getting into film? Like, did your dad inspire you? I don't know.
Oh, my dad, like, yeah, 100%. I mean, my dad, like, he actually used to be a photographer, like, in his days as well. He was a PE teacher, so a lot of my kit is still his lenses that I still use to this day.
That's awesome.
So, he used to do nature photography and gun photography, actually.
Wow.
He used to go out and, like, he was a journalist for, like, gun magazines. He'd write a whole article, go out, take pictures of the gun, shoot it, tell people what it was like.
Wait, in Australia?
Yeah, he was a hunter. So, like, he'd go out hunting and stuff.
Oh
So that's where I got a lot of my, like, photography from, was for him.
Yeah.
And, like, whatever, I mean, this is where I had, like, massive love and appreciation for my dad, is, like, whatever I wanted to put my time and effort into, he was 100% of the way there. So he was, like, filming, he was, like, whatever you need. Like, I didn't even know about some of the stuff he was buying me, and he'd just be like, oh, I use Steadicams here. I'm like, what's a Steadicam? Like, what's that? And he would show me how to use it. Yeah, Steadicam.
What the?
And, like, my dad was teaching me how to use it, bro.
That's sick.
Because he'd look it up. He'd just be like, what is the best kit for, like, someone coming up? And he'd be like, here it is. So, like, that's where I have a lot of appreciation for my dad, because, I mean, not a lot of people have that opportunity, so I was really blessed in that way. And it was just whatever I wanted to do, like, even mountain biking, I got into that.
Yeah.
He'd be building bikes for me, man.
His teacher wages must be really good, huh? Just getting steady cams and mountain bikes.
I'm just going to say it now. Because when we would be doing PE, your dad would just be like so far ahead, like, and the whole class is just so behind. It's like, we can't keep up with you. Because I remember when we were doing the biking.
Yeah, we were doing cycling, And me and my dad would be on our own bikes, and you guys would have school bikes.
No, but like, give a rundown of your dad. Like, why were you so close to your dad as well?
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, like, he was a PE teacher at school, which, I mean, he loved his job. It never felt like a job for him.
Shout out to Mr. Graham.
Yeah, Mr. Graham.
Is he still huge?
Oh, he's massive. He's jacked.
And I know a lot of people appreciate even you, like, having you on the podcast, because a lot of, like, our mates now, they love Mr. Graham. Like, he was one of the coolest teachers ever. He was just so jacked as a teacher.
No, that was huge.
Yeah.
Staunch.
And you guys were running off in front of everyone in cross country, like, geez, just we're all unfit. But I guess that I want to go in deeper into that a little bit. Like, how is it, like, you adjusting with your dad as a teacher, and, like, you're obviously going to the same classes as him?
I mean, like, that was hard. I guess, like, I had to have that sort of separation where, like, you know, it's sort of something you have to learn, because it's like, yes, he's like, your dad, and you muck around a bit, but you still have to have that level of respect for him, because he's like, you know, he's there to do a job. Yeah. And if you make his job harder, that's kind of
it's kind of bad on you as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for me...
Did he ever give you a detention?
No, I don't think he did. Because, I mean, like, ultimately, at the end of the day, he was the one, like, because PE worked a bit different. It was, like, competent or not yet competent. Yeah. And so my dad was always like, you're going to be competent. Like, you need to put in this work to be competent. And I guess that was where, like, I kind of had the best side of the coin, because, like, you know, I was with my dad, and if ever I needed to ask him something, I could. Like, I was really, you know, I was privileged there. Yeah. That I could ask him whatever, and he'd sort of help me out with it. But for me, like, you know, that was a subject I actually really wanted to do well in, because I was like, because for that, it was actually closer to what I was doing with VCAL and uni. It was competent or not yet competent. And I really liked that structure of, like, it was certificate 1 in outdoor education. So you actually got a qualification at the end of it. Yeah. So it was like...
Oh, we got that?
Yeah.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I lost mine.
No, you get it.
So did your dad give you test questions before the test came out? Or anything, mate? Is that why you did so well?
Is this going to incriminate Mr.
No. Is that why I did so crappy? Did that hate it?
No, I mean, like, what he's teaching is on the exam anyway. So, like, you'd know, but you wouldn't know in, like, what form. You'd be like... It'd be like, oh, we learned about this, but, like, it might be worded differently, or there might be a different scenario, but you still have to apply the skills that you learn. And that's what I like about that practical sort of learning, is, like, even with first aid, it was like, you go out and do the practical of first aid, the theory, but then you go do the practical and you apply that knowledge. And that's how I actually really like to learn, so that's why I like doing that class.
Did you ever feel the pressure that, especially in PE, like you would need to do well because your dad was a
Yeah, I mean, 100%. But I guess like that was alleviated from me, especially year 11, because I decided I wanted to do VCAL. Because like my sister, she was a perfect study score of 50 in VCE. So I'm like, I'm never gonna be that. Like, I'm just wired differently.
Yeah.
I was a very visual person, so for me, I really wanted like, I guess my dad like kind of sat me down and was like, kind of like, you know, what's your plan, like VC and VCAL? But at that time, he kind of already knew when I was getting into the camera stuff. He's like, I already know what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not a career though, Dad. And he was like, it can be. Like, you just got to work hard at it.
Yeah.
So that was what I did. Like, I chose that path, and I just.
Yeah, I have so much respect for you for that, man. Because, like, let's be honest. Like, I feel like a lot of people look down on VCAL and it's like, oh, it's not like they're not like being serious, or they're just like.
Alright, we definitely did in high school. I'll be completely honest. I definitely did in high school.
I'm gonna be straight up.
What does
like,
that mean?
I don't want to put down anyone else that's watching this podcast again, but for you, Ben, I genuinely had like the highest respect because I knew you were doing what you wanted to do, and in a way, like, because what's the point of doing like geography year 12, year 11? What, like, you don't need to do it.
We learn about land degradation.
Yeah, and how are you using that now? Where Ben was already like setting up like foundations that he's using to this day. Like he was talking about earlier that he's using like Blender and all these like After Effects or whatever in year 12 learning about it. And you're using it now. Whereas we were learning like literature, like, I don't know.
Just reading books we don't care about.
And I do have such a high respect for you. And I always knew that like, oh yeah, this guy is so driven with his work. That he's definitely going to get some. I don't want to make you like put you down, but I'm not surprised to where you are now.
No,
because you were such a hard worker. And I remember in assembly, you'd be putting up all these videos that you'd be recording, like Out the Red. You guys would be doing Out the Red, right?
Yeah.
You did the videos for that, like camp. You did the videos for that.
Yeah.
And I watched even in the last week you did a swimming carnival video.
Yeah.
It was literally you had your GoPro on, you went on the bus, you were recording the bus like going by.
Time lapse. That was one of my first ones. It was so bad because it's like a minute and a half of me us going there and then like 10 seconds of the actual swimming carnival.
But that's what I mean, like you were so driven, it didn't matter. And that stuff it was shown to everyone and you didn't care. I don't know. You inspired me with that.
8 hours don't matter, everyone.
Yeah.
100%.
I think that's what we've learned.
But okay. Are you angry?
No, it's not charging. Just keep going.
What are some of your favorite high school memories?
Oh, honestly, I guess the video stuff, man. Like, I love the projects. Yes, like at the time, like it was kind of hard. I mean, and that's where I guess I kind of learned my craft because it was like you'd sit down at the computer and you suddenly have like 500 video shots to go through. And I'm like, oh man, like how am I going to craft this story? And it's always a story you kind of need to work out from like start to finish.
Yeah.
And like, you know, all the points in between, how you get there. I love that though. Like I'd just sit down with it and put the headphones on and you just like, I mean, that was my element. So honestly, probably some of that stuff. But I mean, obviously, you boys like hanging out. Like I feel like we had an actual really good culture.
In
our year, especially year 11, year 12, man. Like
we all got closer in year 11, year 12.
100%.
I realized.
Because I think that's kind of like you start to realize like you know you don't have many years left, so you want to make the most of the time that you do have.
Yeah.
And that's where you kind of like you're a bit older, you sort of figured out what you want to do and stuff, and you figure out the people that you really
who are you going to be close to and everything.
Yeah.
So, did you ever wrestle anyone in the?
I think
WWE?
You would have wrestled.
We wrestled at some point.
I would have wrestled you.
100%.
We would have wrestled Tivy as well.
Alright,
yeah.
Tivy, it was like Tivy. I swear he waited in like the octagon of the couches. I swear he waited and just
we're
the second
pull up a video and show the people what we're talking about.
Actually though, but it's a full-on octagon, and he'd wait, and anytime somebody like went around the couches to get to their locker,
instant spear.
No, yeah, you'd be gone.
You're in. No tagging out.
There's no holds barred.
Oh, it was no holds barred.
I feel like, for example, like you guys, you'd be doing it for fun, like for the whole WWE thing. There's some people that
Timmy-
take it so serious.
Dude, Timmy would be doing it for glory. He'd be doing it for fun. He'd be like, no, I need this belt, man. Like,
He should have had a belt. That would have been so.
And he was so hard to pick up as well.
He
Had like
was,
the
though.
lowest center of
he's
gravity.
nimble, bro.
Yeah.
I swear he did jiu-jitsu or something, man. He
Just
was
let the
nimble.
people know who Matthew Tivendale is. So if he's watching,
It's like some 4'5" little Kiwi guy who would never shut up.
Tubby.
Chubby.
No, Tubby. That's that
Oh.
Chubby.
Just kept yapping. Tivi, I'll meet you in the octagon again, man. I don't care. I'll fight you again.
It's calling you out, man. You gotta take it.
But I want to ask you as well, Ben. If you could go back to high school, what's one thing that you could change?
Most of my behaviour, I guess. I was a turd in school, man. I'll be honest. Like looking back now, I'm like, man, I did some. Yeah, I was a bit of a turd. I guess like that's like self-awareness and hindsight. Like you always look back and you're like, oh, I can't believe I was like that in high school
exactly.
and stuff. But I guess like one of the things I'd sort of want to work on is just establishing relationships with people a lot more.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's something where as soon as the automated thing of going to school Monday to Friday during the week, as soon as that's gone, it's like, oh, you actually like you have to put in effort to see people outside of that.
Correct.
And I guess I didn't establish relationships enough at that point to
do that.
have that outside school. I mean, I have people I catch up with outside school, but like people like who I felt like I had actual genuine connections with, like you guys. Like I wish I had caught up with you guys more
Yeah.
outside school.
Well, we're here now, aren't we?
Yeah.
We've done one. Yeah, that's the thing. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like you wish you could have created more relationships in high school? Or?
Yeah, with the girls mostly. What?
Why? Why with the girls?
What the girls?
Just a bit of diversity in my high school life. Yeah, of course.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine. Then. That's
Okay,
fine.
fair
Diversity.
Why diversity?
Don't want to be sexist, I can't just be friends with only boys. Got to be friends with girls too.
He's not wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like, just the way you said
Don't
it.
look at me like I'm the villain.
You just wanted a girlfriend in high school?
No, I just
Diversity, bro.
yeah, diversity. Yeah.
Girlfriend, diversity.
Come on. Do you have questions to ask Ben? Come on.
Questions to ask Ben, Benny boy.
I have questions to ask you, bro. 'Cause I feel like,
Oh, do you want to reverse this?
yeah.
All right, let's
I feel
reverse it.
I know somewhat of what you've done,
Just wanna bring
what
this
you
in
do
as
as well,
well.
because like I'm linked in with you on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, so I know some of what you do and some of like what you talked about on the podcast. But like, what do you mainly work on? Like,
So I work in television. My role is I'm a graphics operator.
yeah,
So my job literally is to sit behind a computer with a screen with a bunch of buttons.
yeah,
And every time the director will be like, oh yeah, can you put this graphic on screen? I'll be like, yeah, sure. I'll put it on.
that's awesome.
Press the button, blah, 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 all this, all that.
That's awesome, and that's AFL, yeah.
I do AFL and I do horses at the moment.
Horses, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome though, bro.
Do you ever film for like AFL and all that?
I did for selection. I used to film the games that the scouts would go back and watch
Yeah.
and select what players they wanted. I did that, and I actually worked for the company doing the ads. So at the stadiums, this was one of my first editing gigs. This is while I was still at uni. Is I would go to them. I'd be assigned a certain list of ads,
Yeah.
and I'd have to compile them all together to then be played at the stadiums for the games.
Wow.
So I would have to then send that completed ads, like it'd just be one video file, but there'd be like 7 ads in it. Send that to the stadium, log in wirelessly on the stadium computers and QC it, and then make sure it's all good to go.
Yeah.
Is that how it's done?
Yeah, it had to be like frame perfect. Like there had to be a six frame slug before each ad. Like it was very particular how things needed to be done. And I think that's where I really learned how to edit, because you'd have to watch things back like 5 times.
So you started off with that? Like,
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, that was kind of through uni. I was doing weddings as well at the time,
Yeah.
but that was sort of my first big thing. And then I got a job doing post-production. It was just a full-time contract gig for 4 months doing stuff for Anaconda and Spotlight. So we did I did like 70, I'm going to say videos for them.
Yeah.
So it was like the 4 months, this is your job for the 4 months. So it's just a bunch of post work for them. Then did some stuff for Mini and Visa before I then left, and then went into the supercars.
So how rich are you, man?
not
You must be on a lot of money.
No, that's kind of the thing about like my industry, bro. Is like, it's hard to be paid a lot. You need to grind for a long time to be paid a lot. And I'm at a point now where I'm getting to a comfortable comfortable place, but for a long time it's a lot of just
grinding.
Yeah, it's a lot of grinding and not seeing a whole lot back from it.
Yep.
You kind of just, but for me, like I look at that and I go, but you know, I really love what I'm doing and I'm doing what I love. And so for me, I'm like, if I'm at a point where I'm just making ends meet and not like, you know, I don't need
a Lamborghini
or anything. I just want to be able to do what I love.
Yeah.
And if I can live off that, that's fine.
Yeah, like to talk on that, my advice for like always young kids as well is, everyone goes through that like grind through the beginning, because you go into any industry, you gotta work your way up into it, and you gotta build your hours into it and kind of get that respect as well. And especially if you're not passionate about your industry, it's so hard to like get by it. That's why like uni isn't even, that's not it.
Yeah.
There's so much more after uni as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Because uni goes for 4 years and it's like draining. Oh, you don't want to learn about this and that.
4 years, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's.
I barely made it through 3, bro, and I did 1 year. I did 2 years part time, and even that was like.
It's so hard.
It's
but
hard.
then, in a way, I believe that kind of builds you up for once you work into the industry as well, because
100%.
there's so much that you have to learn. Like even at this stage, like for me myself, in my like industry, there's so many things that like all the like veteran architects that they make you do because they've done it as well. It's like you got to go through it because it builds you up and it teaches you things that you'll never like know if you go straight to like, oh, you're making all these big bucks already. But yeah.
Well, that's something I see about you as well, because like I see you always posting like sort of like architectural stuff, and I'm like, for you, like that's definitely your passion. Yeah,
it's hard to kind of navigate people around to like, when they ask like, what's your passion? You kind of just you gotta kind of experience a lot of things, experience everything and you have to be intentional with what you're looking for, because I think a lot of people will be like, money is their biggest attribute, like, this has to be it because I'm making so much money.
Yeah.
But again, I speak on that point that like when in the beginning everyone starts from like the bottom, you can't start at the top straight away. So yeah, you got to find it, and then once you find it, work hard on it, because if you don't, it's gonna be nothing. So
100%.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Is the camera all good, Kev?
So what is your passion?
Architecture, bro.
Oh, you can't just say.
Yeah, but like, have you seen your socials, bro? Like,
I think
I feel like that's what you like.
It is, but then
why?
I think when I look into it, because like it was similar to your experience, how you were doing it in high school. My thing was I was in grade 5 graphics, and we were working on SketchUp and stuff.
Yes, bro, SketchUp.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember SketchUp.
And I was like, I would go home and I would just like spend hours on this, like just mucking around doing whatever I wanted to do. And then it was actually a teacher that spoke into me, and he's like, you could like actually make a living out of this. And it was Mr. Shahad.
Yes, Mr.
And
Shahad.
I saw him like 2-3 weeks ago at a wedding. And I told him, I'm like, the reason I'm doing architecture is because of you. Like,
that's
it was insane, because if he didn't kind of plant that seed into my into my brain that like, this thing that you love, you could actually make a living out of it.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Mr. Shahad.
Yeah, and it's crazy, some of these teachers that they don't know like what they say.
Honestly, he started me on like video as well.
Yeah, but there you go. Like, and that's when I was talking to him in the last like 3 weeks. Like, you could tell he's so passionate about design. Yeah. And he's so passionate about like teaching, and that's what like kind of differentiates you from other teachers and other people. And man, like, imagine that's 2 lives that he's affected already. 100%. It's insane. Like, and where would where would we be if they didn't, right?
I'd still be using Movie Maker probably, because he pulled me onto Premiere and kind of taught me that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of people that I have to thank, like teachers wise. Like Mr. Pollard actually helped me out a lot as well.
Yeah.
Because he helped me kind of like do video stuff, and that was where he kind of like got me onto the Adobe Suite as well, and I was able to access that and use it.
Wow, he gave you the Adobe Suite?
Yeah, like he helped me out with school.
Why didn't you give it to all of us?
White privilege.
Like he gave me access to it, and so I was able to
That's
edit
so
it. Because
awesome.
like at that time I was making stuff for the school,
Yeah.
so it was like, oh okay, yeah, we'll give you like
That's so
an actual
cool.
editing software
Yeah.
that you can use, so it's not all like Windows Movie Maker.
That's so good.
But like
Yes.
he was just like, whatever you want to do, then like do it. So I mean, like that's honestly, without like a lot of their support, I wouldn't have been where I am now. Like I probably would still be lifeguarding to this day.
Yeah, I'd probably still be at Coles for sure.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
but
the thing.
the difference is like lifeguarding, you can like it's fine, but how much is that of a difference to like video, like our filming?
man,
Like you
like-
love filming.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
you
the
can
thing.
say, oh yeah, like lifeguarding's cool. Coles is fine as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
I wouldn't say I have a passion for
Yeah.
stocking
And
shelves.
that's the thing about like passions, bro. I feel like we do things because we have to, not because we want to. It's
Exactly,
like we feel a compelling need to
Correct.
create things, and we
Yeah.
can't not create things.
Yeah. No, and I want to go back to like the reason why I wanted to do architecture, and I think
I know
like,
the reason.
oh okay good.
You sure it wasn't Minecraft?
Bro,
Minecraft was a big part of it. But when I look more into it, it's like the main core of architecture is you're helping people.
Yeah.
And I think when you find your passion, if it goes along the lines of you're helping others, that's where you're on the right track.
Crap.
100%.
Why?
I'm just helping people become gambling addicts. That's all I'm doing at my
Well,
job.
some people want to be gambling addicts. So.
But I mean, like at the end of the day, Cameron, when you think about it, like you got sports and people like they wouldn't like people like me. I don't know a whole lot about AFL. Like I understand the game and everything, but I don't understand things unless I see the graphics and like, oh, it's this and that and stuff. So it's like realistically, you're helping me understand the game that I actually want to understand more. So
Then I'll help
That's
you
true.
bet as well.
I appreciate that, brother.
Man, that's good. Yeah, that's a good talk. Good talk about passion. But what do you reckon? Have we opened this up? So
what is this?
So a bit of context behind this. Last episode, episode 3, we were in the middle of a basketball series between David's team, which is Boston Celtics, and my team, which is Philadelphia. I think we were 2-2 at the time.
2-2, yeah.
2-2 or like 1-1.
Yeah.
And we won game 5. Right? And I was like, oh, sick, we'll just take game 6. But we didn't. We freaking lost. So because we freaking lost, now I have to eat this stupid piece of chili here.
And he was
And
trying.
I'm about to swear for the last half an hour of this stupid episode because of this.
So there's the hottest chips. So
And it's your fault, Joel.
Hold on, we need a. Do not consume if on an empty stomach.
Oh, I'm pregnant though.
Allergic to chili.
No, I'm just pregnant.
It's just pregnant. Gastrointestinal problems. Sensitive to spicy food.
Last time-
you're fine with spicy food.
Last time I had one of these, I had a stomach ache for a good half an hour.
oh shit.
This is gonna make us swear, bro.
So,
I'm gonna stay well away from these. I can't.
I'm picking the
spice.
smallest
You
piece in
just
here.
eat one. Just eat one. Let us know. And eat it into the mic so it's an ASMR.
Oh.
Joel, this is your fault. James Harden, this is all your
Thank
fault.
you, Jason Tatum. It's spicy. Yeah, I can smell it. Yeah.
I think we're about to kill Kevin. Have we got water in hand, or are you done?
So Kevin, what is the meaning to life?
I've tactically chewed this on the left side of my mouth so my right side won't burn.
Oh, so you can still talk.
Yep,
on the
so,
right side? Nice.
So if I start sloping on this left side,
That's a stroke right there.
yeah.
So how does it taste? Spicy? It's okay?
Yeah, it's pretty spicy. This is the one that Shaq ate, yeah?
I think so.
And he's like, I didn't make a face. Is that one?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, dude, it's pretty spicy.
Okay, well that's just one. That's your
Alright.
consequence. Thank you,
Yeah.
Philly, for losing. So that's the bet.
My team didn't even make playoffs, bro.
Who's your team?
OKC, bro.
Showed up the hat.
OKC,
You
yeah.
made the play in.
Still
That counts.
Yeah,
Same
we
as
made
last, so...
play in, but that was it. The back end of our season was
Oh,
great.
man.
The first half, no good.
Stay in the frame.
Oh, you stay in the frame. Piss off.
The people need to see your discomfort.
It's your fault, Joel.
Come on, answer it.
Answer what?
What's the meaning to life?
The meaning of life is is making bets with your friends on results that don't impact you at all in life. But at the end of the day, this is my consequence.
And plus, don't
I don't know
bet
what I'm
Philly
talking
to win
about.
at all. Never
His
bet
pores
Philly.
are starting to open up, bro. I think he's about to start sweating.
It's so hot in here.
He's getting red.
I'm teary.
He's
I'm teary,
off.
but I can't touch my face because this.
Oh,
Do you have
bro,
water?
that'd be the worst. Yeah.
Do you have water?
No.
Alright.
We stick to this.
That's an oversight, bro. We probably should have got water.
I told him to bring
He's
the
gonna
water.
die.
In this community hall, water is very precious, and we're not allowed to have water.
What community hall? What do you mean?
This is an
It's
undisclosed
an undisclosed
location.
location, bro.
Oh, sorry, it's these spices.
You're
They're
gonna have
just
to
turning me a
bleep
bit.
out that.
We had to blindfold Ben today.
I have no idea where we are, by the way. Like
It's black. It's a black curtain.
I'm kind of concerned as to what's going to happen as soon as the camera turns off. Like, what's...
Yeah, we don't know. Maybe this is the last time we see Ben. You have
Alright,
any,
so
any remarks?
friends and family, it's been sick.
It's been
You know,
sick.
follow my YouTube, subscribe.
Thank you, Jim.
I don't have YouTube anymore. Yeah, thanks.
For giving birth to such a great son.
Here we go. I can't get over your face.
Thanks for teaching me PE and sport and rec. Sorry, my ATAR results didn't reflect your teaching ability. Could have been a lot better, but you know, I am where I am now because of what I did.
Who's
Does
your
that
favorite
make sense?
teacher, Ben?
Oh, man.
Can't say your dad.
Oh,
Let's just rule it out. So
Of course not.
we wouldn't have any conflict of
far
interest.
out, man. Probably Mr. Shahad, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because like
But you didn't
he-
do design in year 12.
Yeah, but I started with graphic design, but he did like media and stuff.
Yeah,
as well,
I
so
wish he
I
did.
like those classes.
I wish you did. It would have been so fun in
Far
class.
out. I had a select few teachers who like I really gelled with because I mean for me it was hard because if I didn't immediately connect with the teacher I was
Yeah.
like oh I'm gonna be a turd in your class. Like, I was terrible, bro.
What about Miss
I was
Keeley? Do you remember her?
No.
She was the one that taught us year 10 commerce.
Oh,
And you
bro.
used to always bag her
What about-
out.
Oh, that was the worst.
What about Mr. Loring?
Oh,
No.
what you used to call him, Ben?
No, because you remember, because
In
like,
that
he
voice.
had an accent and like he used to use this additive called wipe on poly. So every
I set
class
him
would
up.
be
I set
like,
him up. Say it.
Have you said it
I'd be
again?
like, oh gosh, we need to use the wipe on poly. And so every class, bro.
And you would scream it as well.
White bomb.
I got sent out so many times, bro.
What was the class that you didn't get sent out, Ben? Not one of these
Oh man.
things. You were a good guy.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
probably.
You were the class clown. You would get our energy up.
Who started the Mr. Loring rumor of him being in the Olympics? Was that you?
What? What? I haven't heard this. What?
Do you not remember?
I know this. I know. I've heard this.
Someone
He
started
was
a
like an
rumor.
Olympic
I probably
weightlifter.
said
You said that, right?
Whoa.
Someone
Olympic
said it.
weightlifter.
They like dust off his hands.
I'm not sure, but someone said it.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Who
Let
is
us know
it?
in the comments.
Oh,
Thanks, Tim.
We're
But
gonna get-
Mr. Who, oh wait, you didn't say who was your favorite teacher?
No, he said Mr. Shahad.
Probably
Mr.
Mr.
Shahad.
Shahad. I mean, it's hard because there was a lot of teachers that I worked with. I mean, like, one of them that I really got on well with was Mr. Salvador, but I never did music.
Oh yeah.
But because he was like involved in that scene and I was kind of helping out with that, I was doing like desk mixing and then like doing all the Battle of the Band stuff. So I gelled well with him, but I didn't take any of his classes. So there was a few teachers that I really got on well with that like I didn't even do their class necessarily. It was just kind of like outside of it.
Yeah, you just vibe with the teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Who's your favorite teacher, Kev?
It was Mr. Duncan.
Oh, Mr.
Oh wait, did we ask this?
Yeah, we did last time.
Sorry.
You said Mr. Shahad as well.
Yeah, Mr. Shahad.
Because he was just
He did art.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
And he did my homeroom in year 9 as well.
Oh, right.
Sorry,
Yeah,
really sweet.
he is awesome. Shout out to Mr. Duncan.
Shout out
He's
Mr.
dope.
Duncan.
He's dope. He taught us about the main elements of art.
Yes. Primary
Lines.
colours and secondary colours.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh.
He remembers.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what a good teacher does.
French art.
French art.
French art. Monsieur. Sorry.
Okay.
Is that art? Like, is that an artist? Missouri? Shout out to Missouri, bro.
Shout out to Napoleon.
So So, because you're a videographer, would you label yourself as a
videographer. Yeah, I kind of do
filmmaker.
everything.
Yeah.
Videographer.
Like who do you look for inspiration?
Oh, I mean, like to be
How
honest,
do you be inspired? How do you stay
it's
inspired?
really easy to, because like in my industry, there's actually a lot of videographers who do the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I look to others for inspiration as well, because like you always see people doing something, you're like, oh, that's cool, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So, but honestly, like on Instagram, it's become really easy because there's so much video content now on Instagram that, especially in the motorsport scene, that you're constantly looking at what other people are doing all around the world. Like I've met international videographers, some guys who go over do IndyCar and NASCAR, some people go over do Le Mans, they've come to Australia before.
Wow.
And like we share techniques and what we do. So it's kind of like, it's a good community where it is competitive, yes, but you're kind of inspired by each other to keep creating things.
And the best get filtered out, and like the bottom kind of stay in the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of like in design as well.
It is cutthroat, man. Like in motorsport, it's actually kind of like driving, where it's like if you're not
up to par.
Yeah, if you're not up to par, you get the boot.
Lance Stroll.
Exactly.
Like Lance Stroll.
No, Lance Stroll's safe because his dad is.
Yeah, that is
money,
true.
bro. He owns the team.
Sorry, I don't know anything about.
F1, bro. It's good.
So who are some famous people you've met in the motorsport or
in the
your
motorsport
industry?
scene? I was on the
Straffen, what's his name?
Who?
Max Verstappen.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I haven't met him. I was on cards to meet Lando, but I didn't meet Lando.
He's an F1 driver for McLaren.
He is.
How fit are these F1 drivers?
Very, but they mostly work just neck. Because, like, it sounds stupid, but to keep their head up, because they're constantly hitting, like, 10 Gs in the corners and stuff. Yeah. So then their training is basically a person pushes against their neck and they have to push back.
Wow.
So their necks are, like, jacked. Right. But then they, like, do a lot of cardio work to stay light, because you don't want to add any extra body weight into the car. Because you're faster, the less body weight you have.
It's like a jockey.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So who have you met that's famous though?
A lot of, like, there's been supercar drivers. I don't know if they're considered famous and stuff. F1 drivers I haven't really had the opportunity to meet yet. Far out. Yeah, mainly supercar drivers.
You've met some UFC guys though, haven't you?
Yeah, UFC. So, like, we're very close with Jake Matthews. So he's an Australian fighter in the UFC. I think at the time he was the youngest to go into the UFC. And he's been in it for ages. He's one of the longest fighting Australians in the UFC.
Wow.
But he's such a down-to-earth, humble bloke.
Yeah.
And he loves being around other people that are motivated to do stuff, so... Is he just struggling?
over there. That's what you get. I wish you guys could see our studio. We have like 50 seats here as well.
It's so good. We're going to have audiences soon.
Oh, I wish.
Stressed out.
So when are you guys going to try this?
No.
It's actually not that bad. I feel alright. I'm just very hot.
If I have one, I will combust. I was just...
Yeah.
I can't.
Why? You didn't lose a bet.
Yeah, but it's for our guest.
Bro, I'm just...
He didn't even make the play in.
Like,
Let's get this off the screen. I don't want to see this here.
No, I really want to say thanks for coming on though, Ben.
It's been awesome to come on board.
Such a sick, like for you to take your time out and come onto the podcast. Ben has been a #1 supporter since as soon as we
One of the first. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
No, thank you always. Like, honestly, like, it was kind of like at a point where, you know, I was buried in post and I was kind of like, oh man, like, you know, it's getting hard, and like honestly, like listening to your boys' podcast and stuff gave me like a second wind. Like, it's just
look at us.
Like, you boys, you don't even realize like what you're doing outside of it. You're given like a platform where, you know, it's just people, you're teleporting people back to those like, days in school.
We're the anomalies.
And we're grateful to have you on as our first guest, man. This is gonna be, what did you say in the first episode? A monumental
moment. Did I say that?
You did.
Well, I guess I'm damn right, huh? It's a monumental moment.
If you could say one thing to the teachers, though, Ben, that spoke into your life, like if, let's say Mr. Shahad was watching right now, what would you say to
him? And it can't be a swear word.
No, honestly, just from the depths of my heart, thank you guys so much. School was a tough time for me, and that was a tough period in my life, and I just want to say that, like, for you guys, I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for your guys' support. Initially getting me that momentum and getting me going because obviously at that time there were a lot of outside factors against me, and for you guys like giving me that motivation to sort of keep going. I just really appreciate that, and appreciate like there's I don't know how many other students like me that you've inspired to kind of pursue what they want to do, and you've given them that encouragement and momentum. So I really appreciate what you guys do. You guys are the unsung heroes.
Yeah.
You guys work so hard for us, and even though we kind of might not give that appreciation back at the time or after the time, yeah, we wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for you guys. So thank you.
Oh, I'm 100% on that, man. Like, because, sorry, like to cut you off, because like, yeah, I feel like with teachers, they put so much effort and they never really get anything back, and it doesn't, their results don't show until, what, 8 years later, like us, like, because, yeah, I'm the same, when we don't care and we give the teachers kind of a hard time, and me and you, we would give them a hard time on purpose as well, and yeah, like it'll never show, but yeah, shout out to all the teachers out there, man. I guess when you go into school, you're just thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
Fair enough, because we're kids as well, but you kind of don't know the long-term repercussions that it has.
Yeah.
And to some of these kids, I remember meeting some of like our high school mates now, like that I haven't seen in a while, and this is absolutely not true, but they'd be saying like, oh, you like bullied me so much in high school. Okay.
Quote unquote.
You know what?
You asked, or you said whatever, and they said, yeah, you was an asshole. You were an asshole in high school. That was literally the quote.
Yeah, they called me an a-hole.
Jeez, man.
But which I don't know. What do you remember about?
Were we assholes, man?
Nah, not at all. I mean, like for anything, like, you were kind of my gauge on like when I was taking a joke too far.
Yeah,
you always be
that's
like,
true.
okay, Ben. And I was like,
Just
okay,
settle
yeah,
down, Ben.
I've like pushed
man.
it past that line.
That's true. No, but I'll never forget so many classes that I had with you. That's like I don't know. I don't want to keep going on about it. But we would just be pushing the teacher so hard. Like I can't remember from the top of my head, but do you remember Miss Deeming? Did you ever have Miss Deeming?
Not really.
Do you know who she is?
We're gonna have to cut this. I know who she is now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, she's a politician
Yeah.
who's in a lot of trouble.
But did you know that she was in she was one of our teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was with you. You would have remembered it. We had an English class with her, and she was just a substitute. And yeah, literally we gave her a hard time. But that's another. Yeah, we'll probably cut that out.
Yeah. No, well,
Yeah, you might.
She's doing well now with. You know,
Yeah, she's doing great. Yeah.
She's doing great.
No
Like,
issues at all.
having to go to court hearings and stuff.
Yeah, but she's
definitely gonna have to cut this.
she's passionate about it though.
Yeah, she's
It's a passion.
She turned up for court.
Yeah.
It wasn't forced upon her. She did.
Yeah.
Oh.
But do you ever get the same, what's it called, like same thing with others where they say like, oh, you were kind of an asshole in high school?
I don't know, because I haven't, I guess, had talked to too many people. I mean, there's probably a lot of people that have that opinion of me, and like, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I probably was at that point in my life. To those people, I'm sorry.
This is an intervention.
Yeah, what's
this
going
is-
on here?
This is like my apology YouTube video where I'm just crying. in
This
front of
isn't
you.
actually our 4th episode. This is an apology.
We're
We
gonna have to
tricked
edit
him into
the
it. We got
video.
it, guys.
You're gonna have to clip it out, and you have to send it to everyone who you insulted back in high school.
Nah, it's I mean, there's probably people who I guess had that opinion of me, and sorry for how I was back then. Completely.
It's fine.
different.
Never change, Ben. Perfect the way you are.
We love
Don't
you
let these
now.
haters get to you.
Actually, Kev, I know who your favourite teacher is. Actually,
Who is
Mrs. Brown.
Who is Mrs. Brown?
Yeah. Come on, we need some help on this.
We
guys.
talked about this, and we're trying to
Excellent.
figure out who Mrs. Brown is. So if there's any listeners out there,
There
who
is
have
no
some
Mrs.
intel
Brown.
What did she
on
teach?
Mrs. Brown. She was just kind of around, I think.
So she's a myth. She's not real. I've never heard of this name before.
I've never heard this name.
She had a tie to the library somehow. I don't know what part she was. Like she was part of the library.
Was she a ghost? She a ghost of the
Probably.
library?
Bro. Don't say that. That's scary.
Oh,
You brought it
imagine
over.
if you
Mrs.
only
Brown.
could
The
see
Legend of Mrs. Brown, bro.
Whoa.
Mrs.
Who
Brown.
is Mrs.
Bro,
Brown?
we need to make a ghost hunting show where we go back to the Heathdale Library after
And
hours and
imagine.
try to find Mrs. Brown.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm not doing that. I'm
Yeah,
not,
me and
I'm not
Kev
playing with
don't
that.
play
Yeah,
well with
you'll be
that.
the guys in the van and I'll be the guy by myself with a camera being like, Mrs. Brown.
There was this one time when me and all our boys were gonna watch The Conjuring,
Oh,
and then last minute, me and David backed out, and we were like, nah,
Boy.
stuff this, and we went to watch Now You See Me Too.
Now, you
Instead.
guys gotta understand, it was The Conjuring 2.
Oh,
So it was
Oh, it was too.
me and Kev, we'd already watched The Conjuring 1.
Oh, we did. Yes, that's right.
And let's say we did not have a good month of
Well, I
sleeping.
was watching like this the whole time.
they're so predictable though, bro. Like,
Yeah,
the
no,
horror.
Yeah, we didn't know that back then.
Yeah.
How do you deal with scary movies now?
Now I'm better because
Oh,
at uni, my lecturer taught me that behind every wait, what's the best way to describe this? We're like the fourth wall. So when it's a scary movie, just imagine behind what's in picture that there's a cameraman, a director, like a bunch of other people, and then you'll be fine. So yeah, now I'm good.
Yeah.
A lot better.
You can tell when the stuff's going to come as well, because they're always like, it's a build up and then it's like false sense of hope where like, you know, they look one way and they're like, oh, there's no one there. And it's always when they turn back the other way that the monster is.
But my thing is with the Conjuring stuff, like, did you ever hear like, how many problems they had on set? And where like people were actually getting like haunted and
Yeah,
stuff.
same
Did
with
you hear about
Exorcist, bro.
that?
Yeah.
Wait, same as what?
Exorcist.
Yeah,
Like back
so
in like
that's
the old
why-
one. Yeah, the old
That's
one.
why I
yeah.
don't care about this fourth one that you just gave. That didn't help at all. Because,
Whatever.
yeah, that's too scary, man. That's way too
What if the
scary.
lights just turned off right now?
Oh, bro.
Well, you know,
Well, they're not
and
going
Mrs.
to
Brown
the
pops
studio.
up out of
There is
nowhere.
no Mrs. Brown.
Mrs. Brown.
How funny would that be? We should have a podcast. Ben suggested this, that we should have a podcast at Heathdale. Do you reckon they'd let us?
I don't think so, especially not after this episode.
Oh look, it's those two assholes.
Trashing a bunch of teachers and students.
Oh, bro.
Do you remember when we...
We'll do it in the woodwork room.
Why put Paul? Oh,
Be
man.
a sponsor.
Good memories. Yeah, it was so nice to like... yeah, because we haven't chatted in so long, in 8 years. I don't think since we've graduated.
Nah, I've like...
We chat on Insta.
Yeah,
like,
we
a
chat
lot
on
here
Insta
and
all the
there.
time. That's the thing. Like, I feel like that's my only form of communication with you guys.
Yeah.
And like,
Until now.
yeah, it's like I feel like I know I'm like up to date with what you boys are doing.
That's
so
right.
like I'm never like, yeah, this is the first time I've seen you guys since school, basically.
It's we should put it out there that we should do a reunion in 2 years
100%.
because our year level we would have graduated in 2015, so it's about to be 10 years since we all graduated.
We should do a podcast at the reunion.
Oh,
And we interview
And
every
bring someone
single
on,
person.
every like 10 minutes.
special.
Oh,
Hot seat.
yeah.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be so
And I have to eat
funny.
the chips.
Yeah, quick fire round.
Quick fire.
10 quick questions.
Yeah. Were we assholes? What do you think of high school?
Yeah.
I don't care about us.
Who was the
Who's your
student
favourite
uniform?
teacher?
Who's your favourite teacher? What are you doing now? You married yet?
Oh.
Etc.
Mr.
etc.
Lauren. Who's Mrs. Brown?
Was Mr. Lorang a weightlifter?
I'm still confused. Where did that come from?
No, I've heard.
I've heard it. I don't know where it came from.
I think it stemmed from because like Commonwealth Games were happening around that time, so I reckon like there was a Mr. Loring, there was a Loring in the games, and I reckon it's just
No,
become
but
a
I feel like someone spread it, and I feel like it would have been you as well.
It sounds like something you would
That's
have
the
done.
thing, like I'm
You would've
confused by
said-
it, but it sounds like something I would say.
And that's the thing. So I'm like, who would have said it if it wasn't Ben?
Because he always had a sweater on, bro. So you reckon if he took it off, he'd just be like absolutely cut.
But weightlifting is it all muscle? It's all
You have to be
It's
like
technique,
short.
but it's
You have to be short and like jacked up. Like,
Yeah, that'd be Mr. Loring, bro, 100%.
He'd be more of an F1 driver if anything.
Bro,
With
he's
his
actually
body.
a good F1 driver.
Yeah.
He actually would, eh?
Yeah.
You guys should work together to do a short film. That would be funny. That would be good.
About Miss... About
About Mrs. Brown.
About Mrs. Brown, yeah, bro.
Oh,
The discovery of Mrs. Brown.
Mrs. Brown. 50 Shades of Brown.
Anyways, do you have anything else left to ask Ben?
Hey, thanks for coming on, Ben.
Ah, thanks,
Been
man.
a pleasure.
Yeah, an hour
Thanks for
already
driving
we've
down.
been talking. That's pretty crazy. It just seems like it was like yesterday when I saw this guy. I gotta be honest.
Haven't seen you in 8 years, and
That's
Yeah, we're
crazy.
back onto it. All Ben's details will be down below. Do you want to do a shout out for anything, what you're doing, or?
I mean, shout out to my mate Kid. He's my business partner.
Mm.
And he like when I told him I'm going to be on a podcast, he's like, I never listen to podcasts, but I'm going to listen to this
Oh,
one.
so we got a new.
What's his name,
What's his
sorry?
name?
Kid.
Kid?
Kidd. It's like
Welcome, Kid. Jason Kidd.
Not a lot of people would know that,
Oh.
but hey, Kid, thanks
Sure.
for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed today's podcast. But yeah, like shout out to Ben
So his first
for
name.
coming on. All his details
What's
will
his
be
last name?
Kid
Kid Cudi.
yeah.
all his details will be below. But I wanna ask this to every single guest that we have. If you, because I'm the deep one, he's apparently the funny one, so we'll
Apparently.
keep it at that. But if you could say one thing to your younger self, what would it be? And we'll end it off in here.
Far out. That's a hard question. I guess like what I'd say to my younger self is I guess like learn to take things a day at a time and appreciate the moments that you're in when you're in them. Because like for me, like, you know, at school I was just like I was thinking about afterlife. And then as soon as you leave school you're like, oh man, I miss it.
Yeah.
So just like to cherish and really appreciate all those moments that you have in school and yeah, take everything a day at a time, take things slow and I don't know, just
be present at the moment.
exactly,
isn't it?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm with that. But yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Thank you for joining with me and my co-host, Mr. Kevin Dow, and especially thank you to our first guest, and wow, it's been a rundown memory lane, hasn't it, Kev?
It's been crazy. It's been 8 years since we've seen you, and it's felt like yesterday since we've chatted.
Thanks,
and all our details will be below. Like, comment, subscribe, watch us on Spotify. Kevin's got it on Spotify.
We'll
now.
work out who Mrs. Brown is for you.
And we'll put it up. But thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
So long.
What is it? Practice gratitude.
Oh yeah.
Practice gratitude.
Don't forget to like, fave, subscribe, and practice gratitude.
That's it. Thanks, guys.